Om Lokaha Samastaha Suki Nobavan, may all beings be happy and peaceful. How's it going, everyone? It's Phoenix here. Can someone make a comment in the chat so that I'm a little bit superstitious about this live thing still? I want to see that you guys can actually see me right now. Anyone? Bueller? So, what's going on today? It seems like this pump just doesn't want to end. And actually, that's a little bit of a cause for concern for me. And I, as you know, have been long since about 16K for Bitcoin. I actually exited the longs at around 18,200 because I felt like there was a pullback in order, and the markets decided otherwise. It seems like the markets wanted to keep going, and so it kept going. And here we are, and we're at a critical level right now. And if it doesn't pull back here, then I'm already a little bit concerned about this rally, because what we want to see is a stair step movement in order for it to be sustainable. But as we know, the markets have been fairly irrational over the last couple of months. And since there is very thin liquidity, we can expect there to be some vicious rallies such as this one. And this was exactly what I was anticipating headed into this year. But I would be very careful right now. For me personally, I don't have any longs open. I'm expecting a pullback at this point. So I'm going to share more of the charts. I'm going to go into some of the altcoins, and we'll definitely look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. But first, if you haven't checked out my courses in spreadsheet and small cap superstars, go to the website DeFiMagic.com. If you purchase any of these and you haven't already joined the C3 community, you can join for free. Just either make a purchase or just simply sign up with my referral link. And if you don't have the money to invest in these things right now, that's understandable too. So I'm giving lots of opportunities to join my community where I share a whole lot of information. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of interest in cryptocurrency these days. It's pretty flat. It's actually the lowest it's been since I started this channel, and that's kind of depressing. But those of you that are here right now watching the stream, you're sort of in a very select minority. That's what I've noticed, at least. And it also, even though we have a vicious rally going on right now, there's still not a lot of interest, and I can tell because of the responses to what I share publicly. So I can use the my analytics actually as one gauge of the sentiment, because I know that it's not the content itself, the quality of the content. It's just there's a general lack of interest in crypto, and I think that basically started when Bitcoin fell below 20K, because it's never happened before where we fell below previous all-time high, and that just really took the wind out of the sails for a lot of investors. A lot of institutions have backed out since everything happened with FTX. So sentiment's been pretty piss poor, and it's kind of strange because here you would think that right now we're back at 19.5 after being at 16K a few days ago. You'd think more people would be a little bit interested in this, but alas, it doesn't seem to be the case here. So, and part of that I can tell. Yeah, I mean, you can see it all across the board. You can see it on crypto Twitter. There's not a whole lot of engagement going on with any sort of cryptocurrency, um, any sort of information about crypto. So I'm going to keep sharing. It is a little bit, I struggle a little bit right now. I'm struggling a little bit right now because I am continuously putting out content, and it's hard right now. So this move, let's break this down, because we were talking about the deviation. We got the deviation back inside this major range here, which is great. It's wonderful. It's exactly what I was anticipating would happen. And I got out at 18,200 because it felt like there'd be at least some sort of consolidation or pullback. That was not the case. It actually ripped right up, kept ripping up from there. Some 5-minute candles. Here was one in particular that 3% in 5 minutes, literally, for Bitcoin. So it is what it is. And then from there, it's just been slow, steady, no real pullback. there hasn't really been a pullback. Usually in a strongly trending environment such as this one, you'll get pullbacks to the EMAs. So like we did get one here and here, but since yesterday, we're nowhere near the EMAs. So these are the 12 and 21. This is what I use on the 4H. This is one of the strategies that I share in my courses. Now it's okay. Now we're continuing to pump for. This is interesting to watch. I'm gonna watch this for a minute here while I sip my juice. So I'm predominantly a trend trader, and this is actually what I prefer, the environment I prefer to be trading in. But I'm just, because we've had, I mean, we literally had weeks of just a completely dead market, and then it completely just springs to life out of nowhere. Huge blast, rip out. It just feels like a short squeeze to me. If it was more organic, then I would feel a little bit more comfortable with this rally. But I'm definitely not in a position to where I'm going to long this, even though I think that at this point there does seem to be a high probability that it's going to push up minimum to 21K. This would be like a minimum level here, but actually could go much higher, could continue north all the way up to around 25K, because this is the broader range that I've been mentioning so much here for so long now. It seems just now we're back inside. But what I would really love to see that would make me feel a little bit better about this, and not just it's just a one-off sort of rally that's going to immediately get crushed down again. Because let's face it, that makes it difficult for most people to trade it. You either catch the move or you don't, or you get ripped to pieces trying to, wow, it's really ripping now. 1965 just broke out. And it's strange because ES stock market, yeah, it just doesn't want to stop here. Literally just ripped right through the mid for, this is the mid level of this range here. And, we're trying to figure out, okay, where's resistance here? Wow, there is no resistance. Okay, it's ripping 19.8 now. Wow, this is really moving. Hi, Peter. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Tabor. Thank you. That I appreciate your comment there. Appreciate that. Wow. Yeah. Missed this. Yeah, this is crazy. Really crazy to watch this right now. Someone's taking full advantage of the fact that there's not a whole lot of liquidity in the markets right now. That's what my sense is on it. I could be completely wrong about that, but it feels like that right now. They're really ripping it back up to previous all-time highs. We're already back today, up 5% just in the last since I started this stream, it seems. This will be interesting to see, because it's literally ripping right through resistance. And I think the next level, if it can hold this, if it can maintain this, would be around 2,400, 20K 400. But it's not reflecting the movement in the stock market, because the stock market has remained positive. Amazon was up 3% today. Tesla was down about 1% today, but the S&P held steady. And I mentioned that around 4,100 would be resistance for the ES. And we're almost there, but it didn't really get the stock market didn't really get a pullback either. So, but it didn't rip like this. Especially not all at once. So we'll see what happens here, but this is not a place to long for me. This is not a place to long anything. A lot of the, we'll see. It looks like a lot of the alts maybe are going to break out. Yeah, 8 is breaking out now. I was considering a short here earlier, but then it broke through. But would you long this? For me, this is just too risky business, because look at this move that we just saw. I mean, yeah, it could do it again. It could repeat. But it just seems really uncharacteristic of a lot of these these altcoins, considering that we had months and months of nothingness, and now it's just back-to-back rallies. This, I feel like, it feels like like the last major rally um, in the bear market before they, and before they crush it back down. And because I mentioned in yesterday's video, I don't know if anybody really watched that video, but I mentioned that we had a secondary test potentially if the capitulation happened for Bitcoin, the selling climax. I mentioned that that's not necessarily the low for Bitcoin. Usually, according to the Wyckoff method, let me see if I still have that up here, that image. No, I don't have it. Oh, but I'm on ETH's chart, so let me pull up Bitcoin's chart and see if I can find the Wyckoff. Yep, I still have it. Okay, so where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so even though we had this could be identified as a selling climax here, this first strong move down, there was some high volume accompanying the move back up again. Let me put this on the daily just to make it cleaner. And then we had a secondary test down here, 15,600, which it is lower, which you can see it can be lower on the secondary test. But usually there's a minimum of 2 to 3 secondary tests. So that would only be one, right? So I think that at minimum, we would need one more real push down. So even if this is the bottom, it's probably the highest probability is that it's going to come down to somewhere between 15 and 16K once again. And the reason that that needs to happen is because that is how smart money accumulates. They can't just buy it all at once. I've mentioned this many times. They're using a lot of money, and they don't want to move the market too much. They're trying to get the best possible prices. So they need to essentially crush it down again at some point. Even if but this is a good sign regardless. It's just that how far up are they going to push this? It looks like they want to push it a lot higher, and in which case we are already underway with accumulation. So, but I already went into that yesterday. It just looks like now today, it looks like we have an even stronger argument for the accumulation theory here, assuming that it can hold here. We had a daily close above the, every time I change the time frame, it really screws up my chart. But we had a strong daily close above this key level here around 18,600. And now it looks like we may have another strong daily close. I mean, how much longer can this go on for realistically? I mean, 3 days, 6 days, 8 days. We've 8 days of green. So would you long this? No, it'd be stupid to long. Don't friggin' long this. Don't long it. It's stupid. That's my 2 cents. Not financial advice, but kind of financial advice. So what are we going to do with Ethereum? What are we going to do with Bitcoin? What are we looking at? What levels are we looking to trade? For Bitcoin, you have to excuse me. I'm a little bit all over the place because it's playing out. There's a big move playing out right now while I'm live. And of course, there's not really much to do but sit and wait for me. But this very well looks like a triple tap. It looks like, especially if it rejects here, which I'm guessing that it will, because Ethereum, this is a critical weekly level. Whenever you see these pink lines here, these are weekly levels for me. And if you go back, you got to go way back over here. Notice this was the previous major range and we cleared it. It looks like it's trying to clear it right now. Haven't had a proper retest of anything yet. I would at minimum expect it to come back and retest 1425 and then at least consolidate for a little while and then break out to the upside. But we haven't seen that yet. We're at 1451 and climbing for Ethereum, 19,800 for Bitcoin now. So where would I be looking to get in if it happens? It may not happen. Maybe it just rips to 1,700 or something. I don't know. But if it comes down and breaks down from here, this level here, 1350, If it can sort of hold here, great. That would be a long entry. If it comes down here all the way down to 1300, this would not surprise me either, and starts to maybe get below and back above again, and then we form a pattern here and then break above, that would be a second entry. So those are two possible entries for Ethereum. Anything else, forget about it. I don't want to long this here. I wouldn't even if it did, if it started to consolidate here and we get a few days, like a weekend of consolidation here, and then fails to break down, then I would consider taking a long on the break and retest here. But I'd be very cautious. I'd be overly cautious with entering a long without a proper pullback. Now, if this was a bull market, then I would say, well, it doesn't really make a difference. But since we are in a bear market, it's cause for concern when there's a strong move like this, and there's no counter, there's nothing to keep it in check. Sometimes smart money will really push the price up really, really quickly, only to crush it back down again just as quickly. And it's a manipulation move. It's a very obvious move at that. But so these are three possible long scenarios. Does that make sense to you all? This could be a bull trap. I mean, at this point, because of what's happening, just because of this move is really it's moving faster than I thought it would. I thought this would happen, but I didn't think it would happen this quickly. And I think a lot of traders were caught off guard by this. I know a lot of my friends definitely did not anticipate it moving this quickly. Once breaking, I mean, once it broke through the 18K, you would expect in a healthy trending environment, you'd expect some sort of consolidation. But the markets have been everything but healthy. And that's the reality. The markets have been everything but healthy and rational. And so you've got to expect, this is great. This is a great training environment for us as traders. Short when we hit 20K. I mean, I don't like to short just because it hits a certain level. I've tried that in the past and I've gotten wrecked. Yeah, it's still here we go. It's at 19,800. It may push up to 23,722. This would be like the next, or maybe 20,000, 20,100. I'd be surprised if it didn't hit resistance there, but they want to push it up, and it's kind of in no man's land right now. So I think probably going to push it to 20K and then probably reject hard there. It'll probably reject hard there. And I would think this is what I think is likely going to happen here. We hit 20K and then we start to stumble and then come down, and then it comes all the way back down again, and maybe it comes all the way back down to this 18,600 level. Could go lower than that even. But then if it starts to get back above here, then that would be a long trigger for me. So, but you can see this price action here. So 18,600 is a level that I'm going to be watching very closely for Bitcoin, if it even comes back there at this point. But it needs to pull back at least. I mean, at least back down. Yeah, it needs to pull back. Otherwise, there's just let it go, basically. Let it do its thing. I mean, this move was obviously very strong, but you would expect this in a bear market. This is probably one of the, I mean, it feels like a very strong rally, but it's relative to what we've seen the last few months with Bitcoin. Like in a normal bull market, this is nothing. This is like a day in the life of Bitcoin. Max Pain right now does seem to be no pullback because a lot of shorts, this is what happens when a bear market wears on. You get overly bearish because you expect that every single rally is just immediately going to get crushed down, and then that one that doesn't, a whole lot of people get completely liquidated, and that's the way it goes, unfortunately. So just when you think you've got it, when you think you understand it, you get the pattern changes, and that's the way the markets have to be. And that's why we have to always be dynamic and anticipatory, if that's a word. We have to anticipate that there's going to be disruption. And so this is how the disruption is manifesting right now. This is how it's always about max pain. It's always about what is max pain. And right now, max pain, this is max pain. This makes sense. It's max pain. It's most people are bearish. Most people think crypto is going to crap. It's nothing. It's dead, right? It's completely dead. Okay, let's push it to 20K and let's let them rethink that whole theory that the masses are wanting to believe. Let's do that. And then we'll hold it there for a while. And then maybe we'll push it all the way up to 25K. Well, let's bring it all the way back again. And then we'll get them back interested again. And then we'll just crush their spirits again, and we'll crush it all the way back down again. And that's kind of the way it goes. And unfortunately, that's the reality. I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but that's just, we're talking about, some of the wealthiest traders, the biggest whales on the planet. This is how they operate. This is them right now. Nobody else is going to be able to push the price this far, this fast. You're talking, there's a lot of money coming in right now, and they're pulling the liquidity. So you've got to get interest back. You've got to get the interest back in here somehow. And there's got to be some people to take the money from, and they're not going to be paying attention until Bitcoin comes back to 20K. Realistically, nobody's been paying attention since Bitcoin has dropped below 20K. I know, because hardly anybody watches my channel anymore. This is it right here. Watch what happens when Bitcoin comes back to 20, 25K. If that happens, my channel is going to see double the engagement. That's the sad reality of cryptocurrency. And so this is how markets work. This is how the psychology works. But is this the end of the bear market? Absolutely not. No, I don't think so. It's way too early for that. Even if we were going off of the 2018 bear market, it's still too early. It would still be April when it breaks the accumulation. So that's what? February, March, that's still 3 months away. And what's going to happen in the meantime, if this really is accumulation, it's going to range. And if this is the range, if we've established that, God, there's so many lines now. Let's just get rid of this for a minute. I've added some lines today to my chart. Let me get rid of this. So let's just say that this is the accumulation range. All of this, right? Just this is it. Okay. Where are we right now? We're in the mid of the range. We're in the mid. So maybe they continue to push this up. But if this is accumulation, it needs to go back and forth, up and down. So eventually, what goes up must come down again in order for us to say this is accumulation. So that would be best case scenario. That's best case scenario. Worst case scenario is that they push it up a little bit higher, and then it gets crushed down again, and then back, and then below 15K. Below 15K, and then we say, well, this actually was not really accumulation, because if it goes any lower than here, then we've got another leg down, similar to this one here. But I think that it's sort of like there's a balance, because they don't want to completely demoralize investors to the point where 12K, 10K Bitcoin, so many people are expecting it. Myself, I've thought there's a high probability that happens, but then at the same time, people are already so demoralized in crypto, like so demoralized right now. So if it does come back below 15K, there's going to be zero interest in it. And there's going to be absolutely nothing. And I'm not saying it won't come back from that, but it's just, you never really know. I can't say for sure. I have no idea. I'm just kind of going random stream of consciousness here. So Ethereum, did I go through this? I went through Ethereum. Bitcoin, we looked at Bitcoin trades. Do we have questions about any of the alts? It's been a long freaking week. I made some good money this week in the stock market and also with some Bitcoin trades, but I don't know. It's just been a long week, and this is not making me the happiest right now. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. This feels like, yeah, this just feels like pure manipulation right now. So notice I there's probably more people on my live right now than um there has been in weeks. And it's just the way it is. It's like, okay, when the bull market comes back on and this channel really explodes, I'm going to be talking so much trash to so many people on this channel because it just floors me. Like, this is what we need. This is what the markets need to get interest back into cryptocurrency again. So Max Pain, they're setting up for Max Pain. They're setting up for, okay, let's get some of those retailers who are waiting for Bitcoin to get 20 to 20K again. Let's get them back in the game again. Here it is. It's right now, right happening right now when you least expect it. I wasn't kidding when I said that 2023 was going to be the end of the bear market. I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. When in 2023? It's sooner than later, but not right away. Not right now. If you think that Bitcoin's just going to rip right up, it's just going to rip back past 25K and, just start to break back out to $60,000, then you're completely delusional. And that's, this is the mentality of the masses. And this is, unfortunately, I mean, that would be the path of most resistance. Okay, that's not what they want. So Matic, the AI narrative, I don't know. I've looked into a lot of AI projects and they're all pretty much trash. I don't, there's a few that potentially could be something. I'm not really interested in covering a lot of DeFi on this channel anymore because of how much crap I got in the last bull market, and especially as things went sour with some of those projects. But that's why I created the small cap superstars report. If you want to know what I'm going to be investing in, just, invest in that. And there you have it. But some of them, the AI, I mean, I don't know, give me a good use case, give me a token that actually has a value capture mechanism that makes sense. And it's not just a Ponzi scheme that's trying to collect money off of new investors. I mean, so many projects like that. There's very few actual crypto projects that have, organic, that can generate revenue, right? And so if they can do that, then pitch it to me and I'll look at it and see. I'm not sure, but I'll check it out. BitTensor, ETH relative weakness. Well, if you look at the ETH BTC chart, this is explaining it. Okay, so there is resistance. Bitcoin just, I think Bitcoin dominance just skyrocketed again when this last pump. And ETH was actually, if you remember correctly, it was much stronger than Bitcoin for a while. So it kind of makes sense that, like, you can see it was trending up here, and just the last 2 days really it started to come down. So if you're looking to compare the dominance between the two, use the ETH BTC chart. But we've been range bound in this pretty choppy range here since May of 2021. So I think it'll probably come back down, maybe settle at the mid here. I think Ethereum is definitely, it's ready for a pullback, in my humble opinion. And that's why I'd be more prone to short ETH than Bitcoin right now. I don't want to, let me see if I can get rid of some of this here. And that's why I mentioned this looks like a triple tap. It just keeps going. Just keep on going, ETH. When it pulls back, boy, I tell you what, it's going to be sharp. It's going to be a sharp pullback. I have no idea when that's going to happen. But you can see, again, this is a very strong level of resistance for Ethereum. I would be amazed if it just literally ripped right through it. It's a very strong level of resistance at 1420, 1425. This But hey, it doesn't want to stop. So, I mean, look at Ethereum. Look at this. It's been 3, 6, 9, 10, 10 out of the last, what, 12? Oh, this, even these, you could count all these green. I mean, look at all this green. This is not healthy, right? You want at least some tension here. You want at least some consolidation here. Bull market, maybe healthy, but not right now. Um, Litecoin, actually, I was trying to time this breakout, and now it looks like it might finally do it. I don't know. I mean, it's gotten above. Uh, it's kind of hanging out in space right now. This is a weekly level here. This 80, 81 came above, formed a pattern, broke above that pattern. Now it's looks like it might want to break out here. I wouldn't long this. I I was longing it down here, but I wouldn't long it at this point. A lot of these alts to me just, I mean, they could keep going. The market is going to do what it wants to do. It's probably, Litecoin could come all the way up to 93. This would be a little supply zone here, a little ledge here of resistance. And then the next level from there would be 106.64. And Litecoin also, it does have another halving coming up. I'm not sure exactly when it is, but I think maybe it's in August. And if you go back and you see the price action leading up into the halving and then post halving, it just really rockets. So that's one of the reasons I've been watching Litecoin a little bit closer than some of the other alts, just knowing, anticipating that sort of move. And of course, Litecoin is an oscillator, as I like to call them. It really shoots up and then it comes back down sharply again. But if we were to map out the halvings for Litecoin, you'd probably see what I mean here. And we're actually coming up on a phase where it really could shoot up again, especially in this kind of in these conditions. But it's just it's kind of a, yeah, it's really, now it's breaking, everything's breaking out right now. It's breaking out. But I don't know if I would, yeah, I don't think I would long this because we're headed into the weekend. Of course, we don't know how the weekend's going to be. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for so many months, it was completely flat. It might be a really active weekend. Might be. But I'm a little bit superstitious right now about that. I wouldn't long this here. If it breaks out and then it retests, if it breaks out here and then it starts to come down and retest, and we get some sort of a pattern and then it breaks above, maybe on a lower time frame, then I would consider. But I don't want to long it right here, especially with Bitcoin very close to $20,000. And ADA also, wow, I'm surprised that this is going like this. It really is. It's really absurd. Like, why is it? Does anybody know why ADA is pumping? Like, is there any fundamental reason why ADA is pumping? I just like look at what we saw, months of this, and now all of a sudden they've just erased that with one weekly candle. They've erased, yeah, a couple months in 2 weeks here. So, you know, if it's still not much, because you can see here, like, what's going on? What is this? I mean, I mean, it broke above here. Oh, bull market's back on again for ADA. Not really, but I mean, if it got back above, what is this, 44.34, then I'd be thinking, okay, this is looking like a pretty good setup, but it's not close to that yet. Who knows? Maybe it just shoots up there today. We'll see. AVAX, let's look at AVAX and see. I mean, this is not normal for like technically speaking, this is not normal for any chart really, but these 2 4-hour candles. And then I said, be careful here. I posted a tweet, be careful this upper shaded zone. To be fair, this isn't a supply zone, it's a resistance zone just based off of this spike here. So there's not a whole lot to hold it back. I thought looking at these 2 wicks here, these rejections, I thought, well, it's probably headed down. But then sometimes, you know, if Bitcoin, Ethereum say otherwise, then that's going to mean that alts, it gives them room to continue their upward trajectory, and that seems to be the case with Matic. But again, I wouldn't long this here. I think I wouldn't long it, even though I think that AVAX is probably going to withstand the test of time, and it's going to be around, and it's, you know, it's a solid project. As a trader, as both an investor and a trader, I wouldn't get involved with it right now. I would wait for it to settle down, at least at minimum. I don't like to jump on these. This is where it just gets really scammy. And so I don't like to get involved with these things. Like that's the reason why Solana, I didn't really trade it through all of this. Solana also looks like it wants to break out. And it seems like, yeah, this could just keep going. I have no idea. The only thing really to do is sit back and watch. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I think a lot of shorts are getting liquidated right now. And yeah, it's less than 200 days for Litecoin's halving. Yeah, SPX hitting. Yeah, so I mean, the dollar index actually has room to drop lower if we're looking at this weekly level here. If you go back further, I mean, but in this zone here, really between about 100, 150 and 102, like I would kind of think that it would make sense to me. Some people are saying, well, this is just a big deviation. If we look at this from a weekly perspective, I mean, does it look like a deviation to you? It could be. But I think that it's probably going to do something like this and then start to come back up again. And what reason would it have not to come all the way up here to this level? And if we look at this on a monthly, I mean, it could do that. It could come back down again. It could come back down inside the range. If it comes back inside and continues to show weakness, then it might as well be a bull market for crypto and stocks are back. If it comes all the way down here, I don't think it will. I think it's close to, this is gonna probably flip into some support here. So that's something to watch out for. Dollar's pretty low, and the S&P is, I don't want to say it's high, but I use ES because I like the consistency of the chart. I don't like looking at all the gaps. I'm used to seeing like seamless charts, and that's why I use ES. And also ES trades after hours. Like right now, I was thinking that it seemed like it wanted to pull back down to the lower boundary of this range here, which is around 39.14, but it didn't do it. And I think eventually, where is the obvious resistance for this? I mentioned, well, we've broken above this diagonal. It seems like it's pretty much it's broken this for now. But then we have this mid-level between the 2022 low and high, and that's at around 4,100. And we're at 4,020 right now. So it's not that far off, really. And then if it breaks above that with some strength, then we have to completely reevaluate this. But this is a larger range for the S&P 500. So if this is the range here, it's actually a little bit different than that. But let's just call this the range. Okay. If this is our range, again, we're kind of at the mid. We're a little bit above the mid. And where would you expect to see resistance on a chart like this? Deviation back inside. Okay. Probably comes back up here. This is where I would expect initial resistance. If it breaks above here, then we're coming to this monthly level next. And if it breaks above here and holds, then we're looking at big shifts in the markets. But mind you that FOMC is February 1st. We're already expecting 25 point basis, or 25 point hike, right? So it's So it's probably already priced in, to be honest, because they pretty much already told us. And so uh, maybe the rally will last until the 1st of February, and then we drop down from there. At this point, it's looking like it's going to take some time for this to really slow down. Um, but look at this. Solana's up 20, what is that? 11% today. Solana's up. I need to see a pattern. I need to see it. I mean, we had a pattern here. It just broke above it. So maybe now it comes back and retests. Let's just put it there. Let's just say that it comes back down here again. Retests, breaks above. Okay, there's your long trigger. But just longing this, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. It's a gamble. It's like 50-50. I don't like 50-50. That's not fun. That's not trading to me. That's gambling. So yeah, Litecoin really has been actually kind of weak, considering there were several times where it looked like it wanted to break out, but it seems like it has the green light to do that, and there's nothing really holding it back at this point. It's in midair. But if you look on the daily, it did come back and retest both here and here. So I mean, it could break out any moment here. It could happen right now. If there were anything that I were looking to long, this would be it right here. Litecoin would be what I would be feeling most comfortable taking a long position with, because there's a lot of there's a lot to cover. There's a lot of ground still to cover for that. Atom also has been pretty strong, very strong. I want to see some consolidation here. I want to see, this is too early. It's too early in the game to continue. They need to pull back. It needs to pull back and then get back above, and then maybe you've got all this to fill here. Yeah, so Atom has been strong. Lido is up again. I mean, it's up 5% now. This is pretty crazy. Lido, I mean, I wouldn't trade this. I definitely wouldn't trade this here. Because look, I don't like this. When I see a wick like this, I'm out. That's it. Because it could happen again. And I don't know if you've ever been in a trade when this happens, but it's not fun. And so that's why trading the majors there are advantages to trading the majors, and this is one of them. You don't have to deal with this sometimes, but not nearly as much as with a token such as Lido. So do you guys have any other questions or charts that you want me to look at that I didn't cover yet today? Oh, someone asked about Matic. Let's see. Yeah, it's already coming all the way back up here. Where would I long this? Either it does something like this, or even then, I don't know if I would long that, but that would potentially be, that's a weekly level there. Or it comes back down here and then starts to hold, and this is 0.8724. There would be a long trigger for Matic. I don't really want to trade Matic right now. I don't. It was a lot more appealing before all of this. It was a lot more appealing when it was in this, when it was here. But it looks like it's most likely going to pull back. It may come up to 0.951 and then pull back from there. Most likely, but it hasn't yet. These are very short pullbacks. These are, I mean, maybe we don't get a deeper pullback. That hasn't been the pattern. That hasn't been the pattern at all. But I mean, just with Bitcoin, it's just remarkable because it really literally hasn't. I mean, if you've been short at all with Bitcoin, you know, you're pretty much in the negative at all times, because these are very, what is this? Like, we pulled back from here 1.5%. Okay, so that was like the maximum, right? From here, this is about 1.5%. Okay, this, I don't know, nothing, right? So it's been holding really steady. Even if it did pull all the way back down to here, 18,600, this wouldn't technically be a break in market structure, right? I mean, it depends on how you look at it, but to me, I wouldn't consider this a break in structure, but it could pull back to 18,900. Was this the weekly open here? No. I don't know why. Oh, that's a different. Okay, that's something else. Phantom. I was looking at Phantom a little bit earlier. There were, okay, XRP basically didn't really pull back yet, but XRP hasn't really shown a lot of strength today. These were targets to the upside, so these were long targets for XRP, but not a whole lot going on there, even though it's up 2.5%. Phantom's up 9%. This looks shaky. Okay, so this, I just covered this actually. We didn't get the pullback. We didn't get the pullback. Well, we kind of did. Yeah, it kind of did. And then target 1, target 2, target 3, it blasted through all of my targets for longs. So now where are we? Now we're coming up against this here. This, I would expect some resistance here. I would not long Phantom here. Careful. Okay, careful. This is going to pull back, I think. If Ethereum heads all the way to 1,600 and Bitcoin goes to 2,500, then there's no telling what Phantom could do. It could just break right through and not look back. That can happen. But the higher probability is that it sort of stumbles around here. Maybe we get a big wick that comes above, and then it comes back down, and then it comes all the way back down at minimum to this weekly level. This is 0.2748 at minimum. So I wouldn't long Phantom here. This is Link. Link wants to break back inside 665. This range here. This makes sense. I wouldn't long any of these here, but if it pulls back down, it should come back down to at least 620, and then if it starts to clear and it maybe clears above, clears this pattern again, maybe gets back inside here, then I would be looking to long this. But where it sits right now, I mean, if you think about it, there's a timing to every trade, right? And if there hasn't been a pullback, then there most likely is going to be one. It doesn't guarantee it, but there's most likely at some point going to be a pullback, and you don't want to get in the trade right before the pullback. You want to get in right after the pullback, right? So this is a strongly trending environment. We have to shift gears. It's not, we're in larger ranges, but in the last in the last week or so, it's been a strongly trending environment. So expect the pullback. When it comes, watch it carefully. It could pull back deeper than a lot of people are anticipating. A lot of people are getting long right now at the very top, and they're the ones that are going to actually, when they panic exit at around 20K, that's when the price is going to move down quickly from there. So that's just my read on the market. That's just what you would normally expect in a market such as this one. And I'm just trying to be the voice of reason here. So don't get too eager. Just wait, be patient. I can't tell you how many trades I was writing in my journal today. You know, I've taken so many trades without proper confirmation. They don't go along with my strategies. Then it's not, I don't have the discipline because, and it's more about, I mean, I do have discipline, but in those moments I don't. It's more about, is there a need for me? It was a need to always be in a trade to be making money, because this is actually how I make my income primarily. This is one of the major streams of my income. So sometimes I get it in my head, I need to always be in a trade making some money. But in reality, it's actually better if I wait. Cash is always a position. And if I'm taking just a couple of trades, even just one trade a week or every other week or whatever, and it's a major trade and it brings in a lot of money, then I should think about that and maybe divide that by the number of days that I was waiting, because all those days I was making money too, but just not realizing it, right? So it's just getting into your mindset as a trader and thinking, what is it that's making me act this way? Like, I know this is not a good practice. I know it's not a good idea to average down. I know it's not a good idea to not have a stop loss. What is making me act this way? I don't want to lose this. I can't afford to lose this. I've already had so many losses this week or whatever it is. It's like, getting it that, like, do you need to be in a trade right now? No, you don't need to be in a trade. And actually, it's a lot calmer. It's a lot less mental bandwidth. And headed into the weekend, it maybe make your weekend a little bit more delightful. So just keeping the FOMO in check. That's all. That's what I'm here for. So I think a parachain on dot. I think I covered everything. 𝐬𝐨𝐧 is generating revenue. I've always liked 𝐬𝐨𝐧. I just don't know how it's going to do. I think it's going to come back and be strong in the next bull run. It's not one of my small cap gems. I didn't include it because I don't, I'm not going to go into 𝐬𝐨𝐧, but I do think it's going to be a successful project. I have high hopes for it. And there was a few others that were really generating good revenue, like the perps. Is it GMX? I always get the ticker confused on. I think it's GMX. GMX was one that I liked for all the ways that and they also give that back out to the stakers. And so, but some of these I've been watching, like Optimism is up almost 20% today. That's crazy. That's 18% in a day. You'd think we're in a bull market. We ain't in a bull market, folks, but almost 20% in a day. Aptos is up 6.8% today. Aptos has had a strong run here. So if you just look the last few days, or maybe a week or so, it's up 85%. It's pretty good. GMX is up 6.5%. Yeah, so a lot of the alts are really pumping here. Sand is up 15.7%. This is interesting. This is one to watch. Probably going to pull back. Probably going to pull back down here. This would be healthy, right? It pulls back and then consolidates. Boom. Back up. Target 1, target 2, and then hold on to some. Let it ride. See if it can come up here. Maybe even up higher. Up here. But that's what it did here, right? It pulled back. Big run up, pull back, big run up, pull back. That's what you want to see. So strange to be pumping into the weekend, but there's deadlines to meet apparently. So these are just some of the tokens to keep an eye on. And I hope that you found this helpful. I haven't looked at BNB yet. Yeah, I wouldn't long BNB either. I'd wait for a pullback at minimum down to 277, 270 or 278 here at minimum, and just see if it can hold there. But in a proper pullback, it would probably pull back down to 259 and then start to come back up and maybe push back up toward this weekly level here. That actually looks like the pattern. If you look here, you see, right? I mean, it looks like it wants to do it again, maybe. We'll see. So sushi, wow, I should have just held on to this. I had a feeling it was going to do this. I still feel like sushi's probably going to push all the way up to $1.50 or so. But when it got back in this range here, I was taking longs over here. That's something else I need to note in my trading journal. I exit a lot of my longs too soon. I still profit, but I exit them. I think I exited somewhere up here, but it's going to keep going. It just needs to pull back. I don't put as much into these because they're more erratic in their behavior. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today. Just be patient and keep your cool, and don't let the FOMO infect you because it's not real. We know this is not real. This is manipulation. This is not retail. Okay? This is not retail. Retail's not doing this. They don't care. Retail doesn't care. They don't care until it hits 20K. So we know that it's not retail. So we need to be suspicious. Always be suspicious in rallies in a bear market. That's it. That's all there is to it. So at some point, we'll see. At some point, it'll start to slow down. We'll see a massive 1H candle in the opposite direction. That'll be a sign. That'll be an early sign of some weakness, but it won't be the final sign. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video and that you have a great weekend. Thank you for your support. Thanks for tuning in. If you watched this, please give me a thumbs up. Give me some love. And it helps me. It goes a long way right now for me. And I'm going to continue to put out content as much as I can. I have committed to this, and it doesn't matter how I feel about it. I've committed to this. When I commit to something, I just keep doing it. So I'm committed for the year. We'll see how the year goes. If 2023 is like 2022, then I'll probably give up after 2023. But I think it's going to be a lot better. And so I have high hopes for this year. And this is actually a really good thing for us. This pump is a really good thing. So thank you, Whales, for doing this. I'll have to send you over a nice little donation. I'm just a little barnacle on your backside. So have a great rest of your day, guys.